Manchester United have aligned themselves with the next European supercoach. Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim to Manchester United. There is no doubt that Amorim is the standout candidate for the job, and I think it's only fair and only just that we give Ineos an awful lot of credit. They have provided one of the biggest clubs in the world with a standout, best-in-class manager. They are delivering. They are doing what they are supposed to do. Because quite simply, Amorim is the real deal. He has an outstanding record at Sporting Lisbon. After guiding them to their first title in 19 years in 2021-2022, he followed it up by winning the league again last season, and they are currently on course to repeat the trick yet again. Amorim is in line for a hat-trick of domestic titles, with his Sporting team sitting top of the Primera Liga with a mere 9 wins out of 9 league games. And it really does feel like Ruben Amorim could be the perfect answer for Manchester United, the man that they have been waiting for. Because someone is going to be. One day, Manchester United will be great again. And the way that they become great again is very, very simple. They need to appoint the right man. This is the biggest decision that Ineos have made during their time at the club so far. And rather frustratingly, I have to admit, I think they have got it right. They haven't got everything right. I think it's fair to say up until this point that Ineos have practically got everything wrong since they have been at United. There is no doubt that they bottled the big decision. The brave decision that Ineos should have made would have been to sack Eric Ten Hag off the back of winning the cup against Man City. That would have been the daring thing to do. That would have been the elite mentality thing to do. But they didn't. But to their credit, they have now gone out, rectified that mistake, and appointed a gem. And remember, we know this is all it takes. When you own a club, it's actually really easy. You have one decision to make. Appoint the right manager. Get that right and everything becomes easy. Get that right and you can be on a beach with a cigar and a lovely drop of whiskey. Get it wrong, it will cost you a fortune and create nothing but turmoil. But get the right man in charge. We've seen it. When Chelsea appointed Jose Mourinho, the title immediately followed. When Liverpool appointed Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool became a winning machine. And there is every chance that Ruben Amorim will have that impact at Manchester United. Now, what I do think is interesting about this appointment is that just a few months ago, around about the time that Manchester United were winning the cup at Wembley, Manchester United executives spoke to Ruben Amorim, and those conversations seemed to prematurely end. One of the suggested reasons that they prematurely ended was because significant members of the Manchester United hierarchy had major reservations about any manager who favoured a back three. There were doubts, prominent doubts, that the Manchester United squad that had been assembled over the years for so much money could convert, could lend itself to playing a three at the back system. And as such, Manchester United executives decided to pursue a different direction. So with this in mind, the squad remains largely the same now as it did then. I think it's a very interesting conversation to think about what players that are currently at Manchester United are going to benefit from this appointment and what players is this going to be very tricky for. We know how Amorim likes to play. We know that it will be three at the back. Sporting's success under Amorim has been built primarily on a 3-4-2-1 system, and within that system they were rugged in defence and pragmatic and flexible in attack, and that ruggedness in defence is going to be essential. It's actually Ruben Amorim's first job at Manchester United. Sort out that defence. Bring some stability, bring some cohesion to that defensive unit, because it does feel like Manchester United are perennially in a negative goal difference. Last season, they finished on -1. They currently sit in the Premier League table on -3. So the system needs to work, but he also needs the players to do it. And when you look at that squad, when you look and analyse the limitations of that squad, Amorim is going to have his work cut out. Not for 1 second here am I suggesting that he can't do it. Not for 1 second here am I suggesting that he isn't the man to get it right. Because annoyingly, I think he is. But it's going to take time and it's not going to be easy. Thankfully for him, Manchester United fans have a tradition of really, truly backing their manager. But they are going to have to be patient. Because just look at the squad. There is immediately one glaring error, one huge problem that needs solving. There's literally no natural left wing back. Over the last 2 years, Manchester United have spent 600 million quid and there isn't a natural left back in the team. Like, who on earth is he going to play there? I'm correct in suggesting here, aren't I, that Luke Shaw or Terrell Malacia are not genuine options. I've just looked this up here. Luke Shaw hasn't played for Manchester United since February. Malacia hasn't played since May last year. They are just not genuine options. I mean, it could mean that we see Ruben Amorim demonstrate his brilliance immediately. Does he do something wild, something crazy, something unpredictable? Does he try, for example, and convert Anthony? Could Anthony genuinely become a wing-back? I'm not so sure. But if he can't, I just don't think he'll be in the team. Because Amorim's go-to system is 3-4-2-1. High wing-backs, 2 attacking midfielders. Those inside forwards, or whatever you want to call them, they occupy the space in and around the main striker. So potentially a double 6 or a double 8. Sometimes adopting a 4-2-2-2 structure when playing out from the back. But the problem with this is, you have to be so mobile. Your positional sense has to be so naturally good. Like realistically, if Manchester United are switching from 3 at the back to 4 at the back, how comfortable are Harry Maguire and Matthias de Ligt going to be? Neither of whom are particularly mobile, neither of whom have excellent positional sense. It's not necessarily the system that's a problem, but you can see why Manchester United's executives decided that Amorim wasn't the man a few months ago. Because the squad over the years hasn't been built to accommodate this system. And the traditions of Manchester United have often been 4 at the back. My mate Scholesy said it on the overlap. He said Manchester United, when he was playing for them, tried the 3 at the back a couple of times. And each time it only ever lasted for a maximum of 10 minutes. Now, whilst I think the traditions of the club matter, and you do need to conform to the way that your fans believe the game should be played, of course the players today have a responsibility to chime with the history of the club. I do feel like we have gone beyond that. Manchester United simply have to get it right. And if that involves creating new tradition, then so be it. The problem is, can the squad handle it? I think a player who will be very happy with this change will actually be forgotten man Mason Mount. Yes, I know, you know, I don't like Mason Mount, and I most certainly do not wish him well. But if United do start playing a double 6 or a double 8, that really could open the door for Mason Mount. Like, it really hasn't worked for Mason Mount so far, has it? He has only made 7 starts for the club in 18 months. But this new system could play to his strengths. And I think just a new manager, symbolically, it gives him the fresh start that he clearly so desperately needs. Also, one of Mason Mount's brightest assets, it's his versatility. He could play as one of the number 10 attacking roles, but he could equally play as one of the double 8s. So this shift into the Ruben Amorim era could do Mason Mount's Manchester United career the world of good. If we agree that the best midfielders at Manchester United are Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainoo, they are going to start. The reason that this is such good news for other Manchester United midfielders is that there are more midfield positions available. So I think Manuel Ugarte will also be over the moon at this shift. And even more crucially, Manuel Ugarte has a pre-existing relationship with Ruben Amorim. Ugarte played 85 times under Ruben Amorim at Sporting, and he actually was a central figure in Amorim's team. Having a solid midfielder who can cover the space, press, win the ball back is essential for Amorim's team to work. It doesn't function without that ball winner, that engine room. And Ugarte will be hoping that his reunion with Amorim will ignite his Manchester United career. The worry here is Erik Ten Hag was reunited with many former friends from previous clubs, and it didn't exactly go his way. But on the positive, Manuel Ugarte has to be over the moon that Amorim has got the Manchester United job. Similarly, all the centre-backs at Manchester United have to be over the moon with this. There are now 3 positions available every week rather than 2. United have 6 centre-halves, right? Lisandro Martinez, Matthias de Ligt, Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof and Leny Yoro. So in Amorim's favourite system, there are now 3 places up for grabs. So plenty of game time to go around. The only issue is that Amorim likes to play a high line. Can you realistically play a high line if de Ligt and Harry Maguire are part of your defensive unit? I'm not convinced that that works, but I'm sure that Amorim will find a way. And I imagine that he will be counting heavily on Johnny Evans. Can you believe we're saying that? Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans. In 2024. What a career. And you just know that he will be desperate to get Leny Yoro fit. Leny Yoro, Lisandro Martinez, Johnny Evans playing in a rugged, dogmatic system with a compact midfield in front of them could be an excellent defensive unit, I believe. But they just need to get Yoro fit. Like, Yoro signed for Ten Hag and literally never played a game for him. But thinking about these 2 systems now, as beneficial as it is to the defenders, it opens up a lot of doors for the midfielders. It's actually at the expense of the wingers. Like, United have 4 out-and-out wingers in their squad. Marcus Rashford, Alejandro Garnacho, Amad Diallo and Anthony. Forget about him all the time. And there just isn't going to be room for them. I really do think that Amorim could look to convert some of those wingers into fullbacks, making them capable of adopting this new system, this new outlook that Manchester United have. I guess at times as well, Manchester United could operate in a 3-4-3. When they're feeling cavalier, when they're feeling gung-ho, when they have to go for the jugular, just adopt a standard 3-4-3 formation. And when that rare situation occurs, there will be room in the team for the wingers. The problem is, when Amorim is playing his favoured formation. The 4 wingers that we just mentioned are going to be competing for the 2 inside forward positions. And they're already going to have to compete with Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount, Kobe Mainoo, and of course Joshua Zirkzee. So basically, having had this conversation, I can now deduce that if Antony cannot redefine himself as a wing-back, there is literally no room for him in this team. If Joshua Zirkzee doesn't show some form and form quickly, there is just no room for him in this team. Amad Diallo, Garnacho, they're going to almost have to redefine themselves. Can they play as inside forwards? I think the talent is there. Under excellent tutelage, it's most certainly there. But when we're saying this is a good change for Mason Mount, a good change for Ugarte, a good change for Harry Maguire, a good change for De Ligt, it's the wingers who are going to have to pay the price to accommodate this new setup. It's genuinely fascinating. I cannot wait to see it come to fruition. It's exciting. I don't really want it to work, but I say it quietly. I have a terrible sneaking suspicion that Manchester United have got it spot on. Finally. There we go. They're my thoughts on how Amorim will set up and my thoughts on what players it will be beneficial for. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So please do let me know how you are feeling about this appointment. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a like. Please click subscribe and have yourselves a wonderful day. See you in a bit.